he stays radio silent too long.
He doesn't. And you know what? I would have rather have him on than his son. I got to say, Howard, as we bring in Howard, 94 WIP, King of Sports Radio of Philadelphia to this day. I got to say, Howard, good morning to you. And congratulations on your commencement speech. I was very disappointed in Spike, your son, Friday. Just came in here with a very subpar performance. Did not represent for Philadelphia whatsoever. Now, I don't know about you, but your son's a nitwit. And I was very disappointed, Howard. So good morning to you. Much rather talk to you than Spike.
Well, I can understand that, and it probably pisses him off that I'm now also a doctor. So since I got my honorary doctorate Friday from the college in Wilmington, Delaware. But, so he'll have to live with that. But
well, Howard,
live with the fact that I'm right in most cases.
Howard, just remember that there's only one doctor in Philadelphia, and that's Julius Erving.
Well, yeah, but now there's two.
No.
Because Glenn Rivers was not a doc. He was a coach. So he was a coach. So there was only one doc at the time. Now there's two, but I'm second. There's no question that I'm not. He is the doc of Philadelphia, but now there's another doctor in the house. So what can I tell you?
All right.
What did you make, real quick, on Doc Rivers going from the booth to the Bucks? The Bucks fired their rookie coach. He was 30-13 at the time. He takes over, and then they just get embarrassed in that first round. What did you make of that whole saga with Glenn Rivers?
I can't imagine why Milwaukee hired him. I mean, okay, he won a championship. So what? I mean, that was 2008 with, 3 Hall of Famers on that team, I think, on that Celtics team. So I just can't believe. And then they give him $40 million for 3.5 years is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But here's the problem. Stupid people are, and this must be the ownership. Stupid people are stupid. You can't help stupid. You can't teach stupid because they're just stupid. And that's what Milwaukee was. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but there was no expectations, I know, on my part, I guess a lot of other people's parts outside of Milwaukee, that they weren't going to go very far. Now, the injuries didn't help, and losing Giannis really doesn't help, or didn't help. But, I don't get it. But I can't believe he's going to last the next 3 years. I just can't believe that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
But, no, but whatever. Hey, listen, he wasn't. He's got, obviously, he can talk a good game. He's a nice guy. He can talk a good game. And, Nick Nurse, I'm not sure. The Sixers coach now, he's better, but I'm not sure how much better. I'll give him a pass for this year because things between injuries, but everybody has injuries. And Nick's had a bunch of injuries, and they still won the series. So with all that said, I'm still waiting on Nick Nurse. He won a championship, but, a broken clock's right twice a day, too. So I just don't get it. And I don't know it because I was busy with the graduation on Friday. I didn't hear my son, but I'm sure there was great defense, and the Sixers championship is probably right around the corner, according to him. Embiid was hurt.
No, we'll get to something that your son said. He said that Daniel Jones could produce at the level Brock Purdy did in the Niners offense. And I'm like, Daniel Jones, really? All right, stop it. You don't have to suck up for WFAN any long. Daniel Jones is awful. Yeah. Real quick, Joel Embiid.
Thanks.
Did you gain?
Yeah.
Come on, tell me, Howard. I know you've been hard on Joel Embiid. You think that he's not lived up to all the promise that he's had. But you got to have a little respect for him for the way he played during that 6-game series against the New York Knicks. Come on now. Joel Embiid was phenomenal.
Okay. All right. Okay. There was 6 games in that series. We're correct with that, right?
Correct.
6-game series. Okay. The last game, he actually scored points in the fourth quarter. The other 5 games, he was 3 for 18 in the fourth quarter, and I believe he had 1 rebound in those other 5 games combined.
Howard, he's playing on one leg, playing with Bell's palsy in the left side of his face.
Wait a minute. I thought he's missing both legs. To listen to him, oh yeah, my leg. If you listen to his comment after the game, my leg, I couldn't have lift. And then at the end of the comment, he says, but I feel great. Well, it's either one or the other. He is got so much trauma, and wants so much sympathy. It's all about sympathy. He had a migraine for a shoot-around. Give me a break. He's got, Bell's palsy, and I'm not going to make light of that. But they don't tell us really what the surgery was on his knee, but they're going to tell us he's got Bell's palsy so we can feel sympathy. The reality is, in the NBA and in every sport, mostly football and basketball, at this time of the year, everybody's hurt. Knicks were missing a player for a few games. They're missing Randall for 2 months. Robinson was out for a game. You have all these injuries. Did they say one thing about an injury? Did they say one thing? No, you can't. You go out there, and if you can't play, then sit your ass down. And I'm so tired of all the drama. Oh, he's playing on one leg. No, I thought he was missing 2 arms, 2 legs. He's got a migraine. I mean, it's a joke. Just play the game. That's all. And they're not going to win with him because he's always hurt and he can still play. Just shut up and play. But he doesn't play the game the way it needs to be played. He's 7'2". He's the biggest guy on the court, and he never leads both teams in rebounds. Never. It's a joke. And the offensive rebounds, I mean, there must be a disease near the basket because he rarely gets offensive rebounds. So, hey, can he score? Can he shoot? Yeah. Is he a really good player? Talent-wise, yes. But he's not a team player. He plays for himself, and he doesn't listen to the coach. Do you know he shows up for most home games 45 to 15 minutes before tip-off? Everybody else is there an hour and a half before. These are the little things, and he just, when he wants to come in and out of the game, it's his call. It's not the coach's call. And that's a problem. You got to be a teammate. I mean, Maxey's befriending Maxey, and he's just, we're going to be a good team, and everything's going to be great because we always change players. Well, that's their fault. It's just, but you just got to play the game.
All right, hey, listen, you're down on Joel Embiid. Listen, if Philadelphia wants to give us Joel Embiid, we got a couple players for you. We'll take Joel Embiid here on the West Coast, no problem whatsoever.
You can have him. You can have him.
We'll take him right now.
I think this is a perfect time for the Sixers to move on from Joel Embiid, and I would have done it before. Now you can't get as much because what does he have? 2 years left in his career. He's always hurt. So the reality is you can have him. You can have him. But the Sixers have all this cap room. You don't have to go all the way back to the beginning and start from scratch again. You can build without Joel Embiid. It's not a center game anymore. So you can build. Maxey is a really good. I think Maxey is a better player, not more talented, but a better player because listens to the coach, plays hard, plays every second he's on the floor, and you don't hear any whining and complaining. Goes out there and plays. That's what you need to win. You need those kind of things to win. But you can have him. He's all yours. He's all yours.
Talking to Dr. Howard Eskin, WIP out in Philly there.
There's only one doctor in Philly.
Well, there's 2 now. He just told us there's 2 of them. There's Dr. Howard Eskin and Dr. J, Julius Erving. Right. Howard, talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, and you were just talking about the future of Joel. Do you really think they'll trade him this offseason? Do you really think they'll look into that? No?
Well, the president/general manager, Daryl Morey, is a fraud. He's a con man. He's never won anything.
Did they do the spreadsheets? Did they do the spreadsheets again, going at the refs? Howard, did he do that again?
Who's that?
Daryl Morey. Did he go after the refs again like he did in Houston?
No, he kind of complained a little bit, but he doesn't complain anymore. He rarely speaks. He's speaking today. Unfortunately, I have to play in a commitment to a charity golf tournament where Jason Kelsey's going to be on it, and I said I'd be here. But I needed to be there for Daryl Morey because the soft Philadelphia media will not ask him the questions that need to be asked. I mean, here's a guy. What has he done to improve this team since he's been here? Nothing. Zero.
So
he didn't draft Maxey. Elton Brand was responsible for that. I mean, it's a joke.
So Tobias Harris will be gone. Any interest in Klay Thompson out there in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I don't know what they're interested in, but they talk about Jimmy Butler and Paul George. I don't want 30-year-old players. You're going to have to give them 3-year contracts at a lot of money, pretty much the max for those 3 years. That's not going to work. And then the other reality is, so you get 1 year out of those guys. I don't want Butler. they made a mistake getting rid of him. So it's too late. You can't revisit that. But Brandon Ingram is a name that is interesting to get. I wanted Brandon Ingram when they drafted Ben Simmons, but of course Ben Simmons was a generational player. I was right on that too, that he was not. But the reality is there's going to be somebody out there, but you've got to have everybody on the same page. And I'm not sure Joel Embiid is not going to be happy scoring points. That's his whole thing. And here, he's hurt, right? He says he's hurt, yet he's going to play in the Olympics. Now, really, should he be playing in the Olympics? Here's another thing he did. He was originally going to play for France because coming from Cameroon, he's French. But he saw Wemby and Gobert as the centers there and figured, I'm not going to get many minutes. So now that he's a United States citizen, he's going to play for the USA because there's not as many centers. Isn't that interesting? It's just stop. So he'll come back and say, I got a gold medal. Great. Yeah, well, NBA championship. I'll tell you this. The Sixers...
Out of all the issues, Howard, you're running wrong here. You're putting this to sleep. All this stuff. Tobias Harris has a goose egg with 2 field goal attempts, and he's taking in $39 million. He still got 39-12 from Embiid. You wouldn't have been in the game had it not been for Embiid.
Well, wait a minute. You know what the Knicks did? And they were smart. They said, all right, they were doubling Embiid, and Maxey killed him. So what they did is they said, you know what, Embiid's going to score his points. We're going to stop Maxey. He stopped Maxey, and the Knicks won the game. The Sixers are 2 to 3 years away from being 2 to 3 years away from being 2 to 3 years away.
We would take Embiid out here in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
Well, okay,
it's like you guys in Philadelphia, Howard. You guys never appreciate anything.
Well, the Sixers are down bad. The Eagles were down bad. They just lost.
The second round.
But
he's 30 years old. They haven't gotten past the second round.
So they're down bad.
Great.
But let's talk about a team that's been playing well. The Philadelphia Phillies. They were in the series a couple of years ago, right? How are you feeling about Bryce Harper and these Phillies right now? And what are your impressions of this past series against the San Francisco Giants? No more Gabe Kapler. Bring in Bob Melvin. What are your thoughts on this series thus far and what you've seen from the Giants?
The Giants suck. My gosh, I didn't realize they were that bad. They are a bad baseball team. They can't hit. Oh, it's embarrassing to watch the difference. I mean, there's bad teams now. The Phillies have played Colorado, the White Sox, and I thought the Giants would be better. And the Giants suck. It is awful.
How would Farhan Zaidi play out there? Because this is year number 6 of Farhan Zaidi, and you see that lineup out there. The lineup it's atrocious. We have to watch it every single day out here.
Oh, it's terrible. You know, the Phillies are a very good baseball team. The thing that I worry about, and I gave him the lineup that I would have used in spring training, and because of analytics, it'll never happen. I love a 200 hitter hitting leadoff. And that would be Kyle Schwarber. I think struck out 2 or 3 times again yesterday. But it's just they're a good team, but you're going to have to generate runs without home runs. Other than that game, that was an anomaly when they had 14 runs the other night, and they only had 1 meaningless home run. They only struck out 4 times. That is unbelievable for the Phillies. They score runs with home runs. And in the playoffs, the pitching gets better. So that's the only thing I worry about. Are they good? They're probably one of 3 good teams in the National League. I would say the Dodgers are good. I know the Dodgers are good. Atlanta, and they'll figure it out because they're smart enough to straighten out that pitching, which was good and is not good right now by the trade deadline. And the Phillies. I think those are the 3 good teams in the National League. And in the American League, I don't watch enough of the competition, but I know the Orioles are really a good team. They are really a good team. And there's some other teams there, but I won't worry about the American League yet. But the Phillies are one of the 3 best teams in the National League. And their pitching is terrific. And that's why they have the record they have, because when they don't hit home runs, they just don't score a lot of runs. They played 2 straight games. They had 2 runs, I guess, against the Angels. It was the last game of the road trip. And then the first game against the Giants, they had 2 earned runs. So that's 4 runs in 2 games, and they won both the games because the pitching is really, really good.
No,
their starters are really good. Yeah.
So we've been talking about it's Willie Mays' 93rd birthday today, Howard, and this was a big point of contention. This last segment we had Bonte Hill alongside me on Joe Spadoni, and we've been talking about Babe Ruth and Willie Mays playing in today's game. Now, I said Willie Mays, if you dropped him in today's game right now, he'd figure it out. Then Bonte hit me, Babe Ruth too. I was like, I'm not taking Babe Ruth today.
No. These young kids, Howard.
Babe Ruth cannot play in today's game.
It's like J.J. Redick disrespecting Bob Cousy.
No.
Babe Ruth would adjust to today's game. All the great ones figure out a way. It's like saying, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar could play in today's NBA. He'd figure out a way. Same with Bill Russell. Same with Wilt Chamberlain. Same with Babe Ruth. Same with Lou Gehrig. These youngsters, Howard, have no respect for the history of the game.
Now, they're extremely talented, but everything is different. But the guys from before would have the same kind of training as today's players.
Thank you.
The same kind of medical help as today's players. And when you're great, you're great. You think Larry Bird wouldn't be great in this era? The guy was,
basketball's different though, Howard. Basketball's different than baseball. I don't think they were throwing what they were throwing 100 miles an hour wise 100 years ago against Babe Ruth. These guys are unbelievable.
Let me correct you. Okay, you need to be corrected. All right, the radar guns are fine, but they measure the pitch now from the second you release the ball and before the radar gun judged the speed when it crossed home plate. So obviously it's different. So now they're going to throw harder because they pick up the ball when you release it from your hand, where before they picked it up. You think Nolan Ryan didn't throw 100 miles an hour? Give me a break. Give me a break. Doc Gooden, he didn't throw 100 miles an hour. Whether it said that on the radar gun, but it was measured differently. And that's the point. I'm so tired of hearing players adjust. I don't care if it's hard. If you don't have location, you're going to hit the ball. Willie Mays would be as great today as he was before. Speed is speed. He had speed. He's a 5-tool player, did everything. Defense is defense. Jump on the ball is a jump on the ball. Stop with all this nonsense. I even think Babe Ruth would adapt. He wouldn't have speed, but Kyle Schwarber doesn't have speed, and he hits home runs too.
Guy was eating cigarettes for breakfast. Come on, Babe Ruth. Come on, let's stop with that.
It's just disrespectful, Howard. I can't even believe Spadoni. I feel like walking out here. This guy ripping everybody.
He's feeling like roasting me, like Tom Brady in the roast last night.
It's no respect, Howard, for guys who played the game and paved the way for everybody out here.
Tremendous respect for their generation, but we're up against it here, Howard. Did you watch the roast last night with Tom Brady, and what'd you think?
I did not. I saw clips of the roast. I think Tom Brady is a great player, but Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback that I ever saw play the game.
Thank you. Thank you, Howard.
Not even close.
Thank you.
It's not even close. Never threw an interception in the Super Bowl. Never lost a Super Bowl. And by the way, Tom Brady has a losing record in Super Bowls if it wasn't for the morons that coached on the other side. Pete Carroll should have run the ball. We know that. He lost the game. The Patriots didn't win it. And Kyle Shanahan, the brilliant Kyle Shanahan, when he was the offensive coordinator for Atlanta, you're on the 21-yard line. Stay there, run the ball, kick the field goal. You're up 11 with like 7 minutes left, and you win the game. Enough of this.
Real quick, Howard, real quick. We got T.O. coming on right after you. Terrell Lloyds. Any message?
I love T.O.
You love T.O., right? What do you want us to pass along to T.O.?
Well, we had our arguments. Ask him. When he was here for the Allen Iverson sculpture nonsense, he said the first thing he said to me, because I brought out a casket to bury his jerseys when he started all the problems here. He says, "How's my casket?" I says, "You would appreciate I had a real casket from a real funeral home, so appreciate that." Ask him about the casket and his jerseys.
Oh my God! Howard,
and then I conducted a canned food drive for him too when he said he didn't have enough money for his family. So I figured I'd get some food for him.
Howard, real quick, would you want to be roasted? Could you be roasted? Could you handle that?
They roast me every day. Yeah, sure, I could be roasted. But Tom Brady, it's just, hey, listen, Tom's in his own world right now, so that's all right. I mean, he is terrific. He's probably the third best quarterback all time, but he is terrific.
Who's second? Who's second after Joe Montana?
You know what? I know he never won a Super Bowl, But Dan Marino.
Oh, my favorite quarterback.
Unbelievable.
Hey, Howard.
Patrick Mahomes is already better than both of those quarterbacks.
You've got your stock has gone up in my books. Dan Marino's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time.
Hey, wait a
We
minute.
said the same birthday.
Sheila Manning does not have a winning record in his career. He's had more losing seasons than winning seasons, and all these people want him in the Hall of Fame because he's got that last name. And Peyton Manning didn't have a winning record until that last Super Bowl in the playoffs. So give me a break. I mean, Dan Marino is better than both of those. Well, certainly better than Peyton. But I'd put him right. Joe Montana, Dan Marino, and then Tom Brady.
Howard, have a good one. And just remember,
Thanks,
there's only one doctor in Philadelphia, and that's Julius Irving. Not you nitwit.
Okay. Dope.
Howard Eskin. Money Rose. There's a lot there.
We get Howard.
We
get Howard. Some people don't get him, but you got. And thank you for helping me out because I don't know where he's going with some of those soliloquies.
Yeah, he was going on and on and on. Yeah,
I was going to let you
gotta
step
jump
on
in
that.